Hi, this is Rick Romine from HowToWilderness. In this video, we're going to cover the basics of the MSR Pocket Rocket stove. Now, I know a lot of thru-hikers like to use ultralight stoves like a soda can stove or a Fat Cat stove that burns alcohol. But there are times when trail conditions do not allow alcohol stoves. In fact, through many parts of the PCT right now, land managers are restricting stoves to those that have a pressurized container and an on and off switch. Now, the simplest stove that meets those two requirements is probably the MSR Pocket Rocket. The stove itself is very simple. It's actually nothing more than an on-off valve. In its package container, weighs 4.2 ounces. The stove by itself, outside of the container, weighs just 3 ounces. There are a variety of canisters that will work with this particular stove. They all have a standard threading. Probably the most important thing you're looking for is an isobutane propane fuel. This particular fuel mixture is the most efficient for high elevation and very cold temperatures. The stove is fairly simple to put on the canister. Simply line up the threads and twist, making sure that the valve's in the off position. You can hear a little bit of the gas enter into the stove itself. To light this stove, you gently turn on the valve till you hear a little bit of gas. You light it with your match. You can put it up and go all the way down to a light simmer, or you can go all the way up for boil. In this case, you're going to see how long it takes to boil. 1 cup of water. The water has now reached a hard boil. One of the downsides to a stove like this might be a loss of fuel efficiency by the lack of a windscreen or a heat deflector. One of the dangers of a heat deflector with a canister stove is that if the canister heats up, it can explode. So it's very important, if you attempt a windscreen kind of strategy, that you make sure that it not impact the canister. You may consider a sort of funnel type screen that could block the wind and redirect the heat but not impact the canister. To pack up this stove when you're done, you want to first make sure that it's not hot. Once it's cooled sufficiently, make sure the valve is turned completely off. You can unscrew the stove. And return it to its protective carrier. Well, that's pretty much it for the Pocket Rocket stove. You can see it's a pretty easy to use single valve stove. One word of caution, however, is that any stove can produce a carbon monoxide risk, so please make sure you don't use the stove in an enclosed space. Thanks for watching.